What is up, YouTube? So today I want to talk a little bit about Hex because we kind of, if you look at the price of Hex right now, I mean, we're kind of approaching all-time highs, both in the T-share price and the USD price. So I want to do a quick video talking a little bit about it because when I look at this, it's impressive. It is so impressive. Um, yeah, it looks good. Like it looks really good. Like the price of Hex, it looks so good. It looks so good. So let's talk a little bit about this, and let's talk about the crypto market in general. So, I mean, the price is really good. So the price right now of one hex in USD is 0.0146, but earlier today it was up to 0.015, which is 50% to 2 cents. And on CoinGecko, the all-time high price of hex is still 0.015, so 50% to 2 cents. We do know that last day of 2020 it did go up super fast to almost to 2 cents, and but you can say that that barely counted, mainly because it was just such a short thing. It only stayed up there for maybe like 5 minutes max, maybe 10 minutes, but I think it was more like 3 minutes, something like that, and then it instantly went below. I think it went down very fast. So I would actually say that kind of like the so-called real all-time high is kind of, at that range we hit today. So, I mean, it's like we're so close to making very, very cool new all-time highs here. And that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. So let's just look. And there's also this other stats. Like if I open the Staker app here, one of the interesting stats. Oh yeah, Chad is back. Chad is back in Hex. Chad did a 750 million Hex stake for the max stake time 5555. But there's some interesting new updates now. In if you look in duration in the Staker app, it just like keeps on going up like crazy. So you probably can see that because it's like mirrored. But now the average duration is 5.44 years, which is almost 2,000 days. And the max stake time is just 5,000 days. So we're getting very close to that. The average stake duration is going to be 7 or like 8 years, which means that like there's so much hex supply that's being locked away for so long term that I see these like Bitcoiners and so on, they're talking about hex and they don't understand it, and they're talking about that some magical sell pressure will come in hex. But when the average duration is always going up, it was 4.7 years a few months ago. Now it's approaching 6 years. Like it's approaching 6 years, like the average stake length, which is like that's a really long time, and it shows that a lot of people have confidence in the project. So, and now staked is getting close to $900 million. Um, and still you have almost a 40% APY for the average staker. It's just amazing. The stats looks amazing. There's no other way of saying it. The upside is huge because none of these Bitcoiners or anything, they don't understand what this is, and they keep ignoring it. So let's talk about these other things. Like I tried Binance. I tried the Binance chain, and I tried some like yield farming on top of the Binance chain, and it's like nice. One thing with the Binance chain, how the gas fees cost is it's only a couple of cents. So it was like Ethereum in early 2020, and now we have this exciting thing with Hex that we may see a fork of Ethereum, a proof of stake version that would make it so eventually you would be able to stake in Hex for just a couple of cents, like it was in early 2020, which I think is amazing. This is going to be amazing because I liked to do those shorter stakes when you could just stake. Let's say you wanted to stake $10 and was actually profitable. That was kind of cool. It was cool to make daily new stakes, even if it was just like $10 or $15. Now you can't really do that. Like with these high gas fee costs, you can't really do that. It's let's see how much. No, I can't see that, but I know that end stakes at the moment seem on Ethereum seems to be ranging from $100 up to $200, and it's fairly obvious that Hex, if it wants if it wants to onboard more users, yeah, we kind of need like an Ethereum fork that's like a proof of stake system, and that seems to be what Richard Hart has been talking about, that he is forking Ethereum and making it so it's not going to be a proof of work variant, but a proof of stake variant, and that's going to be cool to see. And it's going to be exciting for Hexagons because you will be able to stake again and probably just pay a couple of cents. And end stakes, doing end stakes that doesn't cost $100 to $200. Like imagine if end stakes goes down again to like 5 cents or something like that. That would be so amazing. And Hex and the community would again be able to start on board more and more users. Because right now everything is like, it's almost like everything is going to, a lot of things are going to stay still most of this year probably, because it doesn't seem like the Ethereum gas fee costs are going to go down on the Ethereum main chain, which means if you want to buy some Hex on Uniswap, it's going to cost $40 to $50. And sure, you can use a centralized exchange, but the user experience is just so much worse. So it would be cool. Oh yeah, here's an interesting thing. So not only probably would like staking in Hex on a Hex chain, not only staking would be cheaper, but you would also be able to have your own, probably you would be able to have like a Uniswap but on a Hex chain. So to trade on that chain would be on layer 1, and you would probably be able to go from the main coin on the new chain to Hex for just a couple of cents. Now, I don't really know how that would play out, but it seems like you would be able to have a Uniswap kind of variant on layer 1 if Hex if the Hex chain, if that one comes out. That would be interesting. But of course, I mean, there is nobody really knows how this chain is going to play out, because there is not even like a testnet out right now, because there is a lot of things that they need to look up and so on. But it's going to be exciting. it's going to be exciting when people can trade Hex again and don't have to pay these high fees to miners. And yeah, sure, we have like ETH 2.0 coming out, but that still is like probably a couple of years away, because it probably is a couple of years away because you still see that they're doing these stuff like the beacon chain, and they have these epochs, and we know ETH 2.0, they already been talking about it for a couple of years, and it's probably going to take a couple of more years, even when they're running on the testnet and stuff like that. Before everything of that, like before we really get like a proof of stake ETH 2.0, I mean, it's going to take a long time, right? So hexcans are kind of doing their own things, and they may as well just like try to make their own chains and so on, because ETH 2.0 seems to be so far off. So in terms of price, so Hex is kind of making extremely close to making new all-time highs again. Bitcoin, by the way, it went up to 61k, but now it dropped down to 53k, which is almost a drop of, what is that, like 20% of its value? I think so. Like almost 20% of its value is, let's actually do the math. So if we take 61k, yeah, it's not 20%, but it dropped down like, yeah, around 15%. A 15% drop. Ethereum almost a little bit worse. From it went up there to around $2,000, but now it's at around $1,600. So what is happening in the market? It's a good question. Like, people talked about $10,000 Ethereum, but with all these layer 2 things, it seems like a lot of wealth are gonna spread into a lot of those things, and gonna try to make yield there. So can Ethereum go up to $10,000 per coin? Probably. It's probably not going to do it this year, even though it would be fun. It would be fun, but we're probably not going to see that happen this year. If you look at these other coins, okay, so Cardano is pumping. It's top 5 coin right now. It's at $1.22, but it's like boring because they still haven't got their smart contract things up and running. So they also seems to be taking too much time. Then we have the Binance coin, which have all these like DeFi yield stuff on it. Binance coin pumped pretty hard, but it feels like they used to have a lot of cheap stuff on their chain, like these DeFi yield farming stuff. I've seen a lot of coins that start off very high, even with the yield farm, and then like they just like crash, like Goose DeFi and Cub Finance. So let's see, this Goose Finance coin on the Binance chain, it kind of went up to $140, $150, and now it's already down to like $22. So I even seen it as low as $18. So it seems like these things, these yield farm things on the Binance chain, they seem to crash rather fast, and it just seems like they're trying to make, they kind of get it that interest is kind of good in some way, and they're kind of trying to make some hex variant, but this is just worse systems. Yeah, it's just worse systems than hex, and they probably won't last that long. The Theta network, or the Theta coin, had a surprise pump. It was only down to like last year, I think it was down to like 7 cents, and now it's up to $12, and I even seen it as high as $15. And that's actually one of the coin that's pumped one of the hardest in is one of the coins that has pumped the hardest this last year now, which is kind of surprising because I don't find their product that impressive at the moment when I've been testing it out. But it's in the top 10s right now. Uniswap is top 8 coin and went up to $35, down now to $27. And yeah, it's also one of these coins that kind of surprised us a bit how hard it pumped. It hasn't even been out a year, and Uniswap has had a very interesting product, and it's a fantastic product if we again can go down to lower gas fees. But yeah, very interesting pump there, from $5 half a year ago to around $35. And Uniswap V3 coming out soon. It's going to be interesting to see if Uniswap can keep it up the momentum and go up to $50 or $100, because we don't really know like how much these things actually can be worth. We know that at the top, when one union was worth $35, the airdrop that people that were using Uniswap got on each ETH address, it was like $14,000 per ETH address, and that's so much money given out, and still such a high price pump on Uniswap. It seems like you almost have this like, I mean, you wonder who like funds this, because it's just so much money being given out for free and still a price pump. So I mean, how high can these things go? $100 plus. I mean, we had Hopium in 2018. A lot of coins would go to like $100, like EOS, but they never did that, right? But it seems like this may be different this time around, maybe because they've been giving out so much money and still amazing price pump. Who knows? But people are going to keep speculating on the Unicoin. What more interesting do we have in here? Not really that much. Like, I've been trying out to see if there's anything else that even comes close to Hex on this market, like Celsius or BlockFi or like Nexo, and they all have horrible products, like so many middlemen, bad ratings on their apps, bad customer support. They're just like overcomplicating things when we can just do stuff now with the smart contract that Hex is doing. I've been trying Yearn Finance and Aave and all of these things, and they're just like worst products. So BlockFi, they were giving interest to Bitcoiners if they like deposit their coins to this third party. They recently changed, so now you can only earn 6% up to 1 Bitcoin. Before it was 2.5 Bitcoin, and above 2.5 Bitcoin, you're only now getting 2% interest per year. Before it was 3%. So it's just getting worse with these third-party interest services where you deposit your coins and you may lose them. It's getting worse. Like they're like lowering the interest, which is like weird, right? Because you want some kind of certainty about the future. For example, in Hex, if you stake longer, you get a higher APY. If you stake 15 years now, max length, you get around 63% APY, which is like that's very nice. That's very nice APY, and you want a nice APY if you're that long term. But is there anything else interesting that's going on in this space? Not really. I mean, you have all this NFT craze, and the NFT craze is the thing about the NFT craze is like now it really starting to hit the mainstream. Like a lot of famous people are talking about it, but a lot of people that didn't talk about crypto before, now they just come in and just been here in like a month, and they're talking like they're NFT expert. And I don't think that that's gonna go so well. People probably gonna lose a lot of monies in NFTs. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to talk a little bit about. it's amazing to see Hex daily payout, also the T-share, be very extremely stable at 5.8 Hex per T-share. And the moment Hex like goes above this, like, I mean, we're so close to like breakout. Like if you look at the Hex all-time high, it's been touching that support like so many times, and now when we're like it's like 5% away from all-time high, once it breaks through, we're gonna be in this discovery phase where it can very easy do wild things from there. Maybe before end of the year, like 6 cents or something like that. It seems like it can do something like that. And if it does do that, one T share will be like $1,000, which means that probably most people that that get in after 2021 and people that didn't get into Hex 2019, 2020, or 2021, probably in 2022, gonna have to pay $1,000 if they use one-to-one T-share. Now, if they stake max time, they get 3x the shares. So they still can bet on the long term even later. But yeah, I mean, even though T-share price and Hex USD price is not really related in a way they actually are, it's very interesting math-wise how that kind of work when you think a little bit about it. Yeah, $1,000 for one T-share. It's going to be high. And right now, Hex from the bottom. I mean, let's see, how much percentage is it up? I think it's around 24,000 or something like that. Oh no, now it's actually 25,000% up since the all-time low on January the 5th, 2020. Wow, that's so high. And if it would go up to like 5 or 6 cents this year, that that would be like over 100,000% up since early January 2020. That's so cool. It's gonna be so cool to follow this. So the best website right now is I was a little bit disappointed when Hex.live closed down, and they're only focusing on the Staker app right now, because I think that the web version of Hex.live, it was actually the best kind of Hex website in terms of stats. It had the best design, and it was very cool how you can see the APY expected on that website, and also that it was like, yeah, a web version. I hope it comes back, that website and that design, because it was still like the best kind of thing that ever existed in terms of like Hex websites, if you ask me. But another website that's kind of good is graphhex.rocks. They have a very fast API that kind of updates the price in real time. So in terms of liquidity, the main liquidity right now is the Hex and USDC pair on Uniswap. I think it's around $2 million of USDC sitting there. And on the ETH pair, I think it's around 330 Ethereum. And 330 Ethereum, that is around $500,000. So it's actually 4x, I guess, maybe, yeah, like 4x more liquidity on USDC pair. This basically means that on the Hex and Ethereum pair, Hex Ethereum pair, there's probably a larger risk for impermanent loss for the liquidity providers, mainly because if Ethereum does large price swings in relative to Hex, then people can lose a lot in impermanent loss. While with the Hex USDC pair, like if you really want to do like dramatic changes to the Hex price, it's gonna be harder. Like you need so much money. And USDC obviously is a stable coin, so that one doesn't really move that much. So yeah, less impermanent loss on that pair. And yeah, that can be good to know for the liquidity providers. But yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. There's not much more to say because stuff is going so well. Like Hex is designed so well, but I can't wait until this really goes fully mainstream, because it probably will, because of the market cap. Eventually it's going to be like super high. Like when I've been doing the math on like what actually, and when other people have done it, like what is actually a realistic price for one hex, if you look at it's like a time deposit, it's like 20-25 cents per one hex. And from there, like the sky's the limit. So another 20x seems like it actually should be doing. So that would make an amazing that would make an amazing hex market cap, which probably would help bringing in more mainstream people in the hex community. Yeah, have an awesome day, YouTube.